The following is a paid advertisement from Mega Mix Foods, LLC. Hello, I'm Jessica Vilchis, and as far as I'm concerned, a meal just isn't complete without the bright, fresh tomato flavor of salsa. And I'm not alone. From super mild to crazy hot, slathered on a burger, alongside an omelet, or as a tortilla chip's best friend, America loves salsa. But where does salsa come from? How did it get here? How is it made? My favorite salsa is Suprema salsa from the makers of La Victoria brand Mexican sauces and salsas. The story of the La Victoria brand really is one of firsts. From an innovative family's arrival in the United States early in the last century, to the first fresh crop of California tomatoes that launches harvest season every July, the La Victoria brand stands for fresh, bold flavor that Americans love to reach for to liven up their meals. Over the next half hour, we'll explore the La Victoria brand journey from harvest to table and learn the secret to making the salsas and sauces we love to use at every meal. Along the way, I'll give you a few fun facts, and Chef Jamie Gwen has some easy tips on great ways to make delicious family meals with La Victoria brand products. And we'll see La Victoria brand up close and in person as the special guest star at one of the hottest food trucks in Los Angeles. Welcome to From Harvest to Table, the story of La Victoria brand. Over 90 years ago, the makers of La Victoria brand introduced a Mexican mealtime staple to American kitchens, the tomato and chili-based sauce called La Victoria Salsa Brava hot sauce. It all started with one great family and their bold idea. For centuries, salsa had been a favorite ingredient in cuisines around the world. In central Mexico, the Aztec people combined tomatoes and chilies to create a savory enhancement for staple dishes. When the Labaca family left their homeland in Mexico to emigrate to America, they were determined to stay connected to their food traditions. Hitching their family recipes to the American dream, in 1917, the Labacas began selling La Victoria Salsa Brava hot sauce in Los Angeles. A zesty and flavorful recipe, La Victoria Salsa Brava hot sauce puts the nostalgic flavor of home into the pantries of local families. In the culturally diverse community of Los Angeles, La Victoria brand products made their way into Mexican restaurants, retail grocery stores, and traveled by word of mouth, inspiring a craving for traditional Mexican recipes. As a wide range of families became familiar with Mexican cooking, their taste for Mexican salsas and sauces grew. And La Victoria brand began to travel from Mexican-American communities into kitchens all across Southern California, and from there to the rest of the Western United States. By 1941, the Labacas were able to expand their business and introduce a wider selection of delectable salsas and sauces to an American public hungry for more. Eventually, they sold their business to one of the company's sales representatives, Henry Tanklage. By 1946, Tanklage had taken over the entire La Victoria brand operation. A family business had now become an empire, and the regional flavors of the Labaca's Mexican hometown had become an American favorite. Today, after almost a century of producing savory Mexican accompaniments for America, the company has expanded its signature Suprema salsa and thick and chunky lines of salsa to include its tomatillo-based salsa verde, a wide variety of taco sauces, enchilada sauces, and now tortillas, all of which have become trusted pantry staples across America. Much has changed since the Labacas put up their first jar of Salsa Brava hot sauce. But 90 years later, La Victoria products bring their fresh farm taste throughout the U.S. La Victoria brand products demand the freshest, ripest tomatoes around. And La Victoria brand is committed to picking and packing ingredients at the peak of freshness. That's why La Victoria brand centers its salsa production around the California tomato harvest that spans from July to October. There's so much history and care inside each and every jar of La Victoria brand Mexican salsas and sauces, you'd think they'd need a bigger jar.
What civilizations were the first to cultivate tomatoes? The Aztecs and the Incas were the first civilizations to cultivate tomatoes in 700 AD. Are tomatoes a fruit or a vegetable? Legally speaking, they're a vegetable. The 1893 Supreme Court decision of Nix v. Hedden ruled that tomatoes would be considered a vegetable even though they're seeded like a fruit.
One of my family's favorite meals is breakfast for dinner, and using La Victoria products is a great way to pull it off. Chef Jamie Gwen has some creative tips on how to spice up eggs for an impressive and delicious meal.
Hi, I'm Chef Jamie Gwen. I love to combine the bold flavors of La Victoria Mexican salsas and sauces with some easy and impressive techniques to make my favorite meal of the day, breakfast for dinner. Today, I'll show you some simple tricks to create a festive, sophisticated, and economical evening meal with a wow factor that's truly easy to accomplish. For my victorious baked eggs Florentine, I fold corn or flour tortillas into muffin cups to create tortilla flowers. Then, I spoon sautéed vegetables into them. Next, crack an egg into a small bowl and pour it on top. While the eggs bake at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes, whip up my incredibly easy hollandaise sauce that's made entirely in the blender. Place 4 egg yolks in the blender. The heat of the melted butter should bring the hollandaise to 160 degrees. For an egg substitute alternative, check out my recipe on the La Victoria brand Facebook page. Now, add the heavy cream and the lemon juice and season with salt and pepper. Turn the blender on and let it run for 30 seconds. Slowly drizzle in 2 sticks of hot, melted, unsalted butter. And here's the zesty surprise. Pour the sauce into a bowl and stir in ½ a cup of La Victoria taco sauce. Spoon wide ribbons of hollandaise over the baked eggs for an elegant finish to the dish. Visit the La Victoria brand page on Facebook to get this recipe and more, featuring La Victoria Mexican salsas and sauces. I'm Chef Jamie Gwen. I hope you continue to eat well.
La Victoria, you victorious.
It takes a lot of local flavor to feed the American hunger for La Victoria brand products. That's why La Victoria brand partners with local farms. Let's travel north to California's Central Valley and visit a local farm that's dedicated to La Victoria brand's fresh ingredients. Nestled in the heart of California farmland, just outside of the city of Lemoore, you can find one of the select tomato processors partnered with the makers of La Victoria brand to pick and pack their key ingredient. Just before dawn, early morning rays of sun peek over the horizon as the harvesting team begins its daily routine. One driver maneuvers through the rows of ripe tomatoes while 2 workers flank the machine. We want the people who pick tomatoes for La Victoria products to be picky, and they are. Any tomato that's bruised, rotted, or damaged doesn't have a chance.
Tractors take turns following the harvester. In anticipation of a large harvest, a long line of empty trailers waits on the road to fulfill the huge demand for our recipes. As the tomato trucks pull away from the field, they're left uncovered to keep the tomatoes fresh. A typical tomato truck holds 26 tons of tomatoes, or about 416,000 tomatoes. Each tomato is approximately 2.5 inches long, which means if you lined up the total number of tomatoes that La Victoria brand produces in a year and placed them end to end, you could cover every inch of every freeway in LA County over 7 times.
Now, the tomatoes make a pit stop at a grading station before traveling to their next stop. At the grading station, tomatoes are randomly sampled to determine the overall quality of the crop. The standards are tough, but La Victoria brand tomatoes don't mind being put to the test. In fact, their good qualities, known in the biz as quality attribute measurements, are recorded at the grading station and sent ahead to their next stop. When the tomatoes arrive, the personnel greet them with open arms, knowing exactly what to expect from each and every truckload. But the inspections keep coming. No defective tomatoes are welcome, so inspectors continue to scrutinize. Colored buckets representing various grades stand by, ready for any tomato that doesn't make the cut. The tomatoes selected are then blended so their value indicators can be easily identified through various instruments. And now these gorgeous fresh tomatoes are ready for their next step on the way to delicious. So here's a little quiz. How long do you think it takes for that entire process, from fresh picked to bottle ready? Ready? All that magic happens in a single day. Yeah, isn't that amazing? Since the company uses local tomato harvests, they're able to get that great quality and fresh flavor that comes from a quick process. And of course, keeping the operation local helps support the economic health of local farmers and their communities.
What is lycopene? Lycopene is an antioxidant found in tomatoes that may help prevent certain cancers. How many varieties of tomatoes are there? About 7,500.
Okay, now we've got our tomatoes. Next stop, making salsa. After the best quality tomatoes are selected at the grading station, it's on to production. The tomatoes are loaded into a steam peeler to remove the skin. These plump tomatoes are going to make incredibly delicious salsa. The steam loosens the skin so that the tomatoes are easier to peel. Stems are easily removed from the tomatoes by small rotating discs on the conveyor belt. This process also ensures that none of the juicy goodness is lost with the peels. Peeled and destemmed tomatoes are cut before moving on to the batch cooking phase. All the fresh ingredients meet in the batching station where they are heated. The batches are carefully monitored by both computer and lab personnel. La Victoria brand uses fresh ingredients like tomatoes, chilies, onions, peppers, and garlic, all in their perfect combination, of course. Is your ideal salsa hot or not? The heat level in La Victoria brand products is naturally determined by the quantity
and variety of the peppers used, just like you do at home. Consult the heat thermometer depicted on each jar. This innovative design, used on La Victoria brand products since 1955, lets you know how much pepper power is in each jar. With only 10 calories and 2 grams of carbs for a 2-tablespoon serving, fat and cholesterol-free La Victoria Suprema salsa is a great choice for anyone trying to get in all their veggies. Right now, you're watching ingredients being slowly added into a batch cooker. As you can see, the unit stirs the mixture constantly to make sure that the flavors are well combined and balanced in each batch. Consistency from jar to jar of La Victoria products can be counted on.
Now that you know what goes into every bottle of La Victoria salsa, I'm going to show you how all that flavor gets into here.
Once the batches of La Victoria salsas and sauces have cooked perfectly, they're ready to be bottled. Sterilized bottles are conveyed to a filling mechanism, where each bottle is filled with warm salsa, then tightly sealed to keep the air out. Bottled salsa goes through a cooling tunnel for holding, which cools the product down to ambient temperature. This process creates a powerful vacuum seal that ensures the retention of color, aroma, and flavor of the fresh ingredients. La Victoria brand salsa is one step closer to coming home.
How many American states produce tomatoes? All of them. Which state in the U.S. produces the most tomatoes? California, of course. California tomatoes account for nearly 96% of tomatoes processed in the United States.
The final step in getting La Victoria brand products to you is labeling and boxing. Let's take a look at the process of getting the finished product to your local store.
Once the product has been bottled and sealed, it's sent by conveyor to be labeled with the La Victoria brand logo. Units are then combined into multiples for packing. The case packs are covered with plastic for shrink wrapping, then loaded onto shipping pallets and wrapped tightly to protect them from damage during the shipping process. Tens of thousands of La Victoria brand products are shipped weekly to your local grocer and favorite restaurants throughout the western United States. La Victoria brand products can also be purchased directly from our La Victoria brand Facebook page, for use in kitchens all around the country.
It's easy to take the fresh, delicious flavor of La Victoria brand sauces and salsas for granted, but it's pretty amazing to see the care and expertise that goes into the recipes we love. Let's check back in with Chef Jamie Gwen and see how she puts a delicious twist on one of my favorite Mexican dishes, enchiladas.
Today, I'm going to show you something truly special. It's the signature enchilada dish that I've created for the La Victoria brand. These enchiladas have a lot going for them. 4 types of cheese, creamy shredded chicken, and both varieties of my favorite enchilada sauce. You can't help but please everybody with all of these flavors. To get started, we saute sweet red onions over medium heat until they soften and start to caramelize. Next, add the garlic and saute for another minute or so. Spoon the onions and the garlic into a mixing bowl. Now it's time for the chili powder, the ground cumin, and cream cheese. And finally, the shredded chicken. Season with salt and pepper to taste. And at this point, I like to add some La Victoria Salsa Brava hot sauce to add both heat and flavor. It's delicious. Now, the fun part. I'm coating half of my baking dish with about a 1/4 inch of La Victoria red enchilada sauce on one side and green enchilada sauce on the other side. Here, I have some La Victoria tortillas that I charred right on the grill. I take each tortilla and I spoon in about 2 tablespoons of the chicken mixture. I roll them up nice and tight and I place them in my baking dish, just like this. Then I pour my remaining sauces over the top. And finish it with this Mexican cheese blend and crumbled cotija cheese for even more flavor. Now, it's off to a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. When the enchiladas are finished, it should look just like this, heated all the way through with the cheese nice and bubbly. Garnish with some chopped cilantro and green onion. And there you have it. If that's not victorious, I don't know what is.
We said earlier that the La Victoria brand story is one of firsts, but it's also about the enduring power of local relationships, from the Labaca family's entrepreneurial vision that brought them to a new place, to the partnership between the brand and the local farms that they support today. And of course, the role that La Victoria brand products play at mealtimes. Let's take a visit to the Lime Truck, one of the bright new stars on LA's thriving food truck scene. When Daniel Shemtab combines La Victoria Mexican salsas, sauces, and new tortillas with his innovative menu, the result is a brand new first that you've gotta taste to believe. It is a gorgeous beach day here in Los Angeles, where the food truck scene is definitely thriving. I'm here at the beach in Santa Monica with La Victoria brand and the Lime Truck, where the lunch crowd is starting to gather. Voted Best New Restaurant 2010 by OC Weekly and the winner of the $100,000 prize on Season 2 of the Great Food Truck Race on the Food Network, the Lime Truck has been making quite the name for itself. But today, we're showcasing La Victoria brand Mexican salsas and sauces. They're bringing fresh new flavors to the table.
My name is Daniel Shemtab. I own the Lime Truck. I started the Lime Truck 2 years ago in Orange County. I came up with a simple concept of bringing really great restaurant-style food on the go and really showcasing really good ingredients. We've been able to get a restaurant on the move, been able to expand and get multiple trucks, and have great brand sponsorships. And the one that we have with La Victoria brand is great because it just continues to strengthen our brand with someone that's so credible and has been around for so long. Jessica, come on in.
Awesome. So tell me, what's on the menu? I see some tomatoes are being cut up. Everything looks really good.
Well, we actually highlighted the La Victoria brand sauce throughout the menu. So we've highlighted the La Victoria brand in a few different things.
That sounds amazing. So I have my order ready. I would like to have one of each, because I haven't tried all. It's amazing, and it sounds super delicious.
You think you can eat one of each?
I can eat all of the food in this truck.
I will bet you this truck that you can't do it.
It's on!
Let's
it
do
is
it.
on!
All right, one of everything. A lot of people out there, let's get this thing going.
Oh, it looks amazing!
Oh, this is great. I really love this taco.
Yeah?
It's delicious.
It's my first one, so I want to try all of them, I think, because I do like La Victoria.
I love La Victoria.
And you know you can get it at your local supermarket.
I buy it two jars at a time.
They delicious. Did you put sauce on there?
We did.
It makes it fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a real fresh taste.
That's the best taco I've ever eaten. So tasty.
So many ingredients.
I eat this stuff all the time. Hot sauce, that's why
You like it spicy?
I do.
Very good. Thank you.
It is great. Very good. Yep. La Victoria is great. Yeah, that's all I use anyway.
Awesome.
Tacos are really good. I wish I had about 5 of these.
Very delicious.
I love the taco.
Do you mind if I have the rest?
No, you can't have the rest. You can't have the rest.
This is so good. Visit the Lime Truck on Facebook.com to find out more about who they are and where they're going. You're going to want to find out.
La Victoria means the victory, and the fresh, bold flavors in La Victoria brand products make it easy for me to be victorious. And I know the same will go for you too. Check out facebook.com/La Victoria brand for recipes, tips, and lots of inspired, easy ideas to make you victorious. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jessica Vilchis on behalf of the makers of the La Victoria brand. And this has been From Harvest to Table, the story of the La Victoria brand.
The preceding has been a paid advertisement from Megamix Foods, LLC.